Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahe, tejasvinavadhitamastu. Our basic aspiration reveals we are comfortable being happy. Anything that you want takes you back to one more question. Why you want this? Why you want this? End up in my own being comfortable in this world. Comfortable means happy being myself in this world. Then, or simply say, discover happiness. Then if you analyze these unabated desires, logically, it is not possible to be happy. Because if fulfilling desires is happiness, nobody can be happy logically. Because unfulfilled desires are more than fulfilled desires. Desires are not merely for objects. Desires for people to be different. We want them all to be different. From Bush downwards. And because he is the top person, we want him to be different and everybody else to be different. And therefore, looking at the fact of myself, each one has to say, looking at the fact about oneself, one was always having desires unfulfilled. Sometimes suppressed, sometimes mutilated, and sometimes found impossible to fulfill. And one doesn't grow out of them. Because at that stage, every small desire, even a desire for a top, a desire for a toy, you never grow out of it at that stage. You grow out of it when you have picked up other desires. But at that stage, it was unfulfilled desire, and it doesn't disappear from you. It becomes a part of your personality. All your lifetime, it controls you. And therefore, we cannot say unfulfilled desire we have grown out of. Some you have grown out of. And many, at that stage, it remained unfulfilled. Coloring the person, called kashaya. Coloring the person. Dyeing the person. Dye, dye. So, dyeing the person. That is called kashaya. And so you have all the way the unfulfilled desires. They are not other than you. The person, individual, consists of to be fulfilled desires plus unfulfilled desires. You know, it's a very simple definition of an individual. Who are you? A bundle of unfulfilled desires plus to be fulfilled desires. Unfulfilled desires, already decided I cannot fulfill them. So that's over. I cannot fulfill them. Now that time is past. But becomes a part of your personality. Unfulfilled desires become a part of your personality. They create havoc. Then, to be fulfilled desires, some hope is there. These can be fulfilled. To join unfulfilled desires later. But then there is a hope we can fulfill them. So these two constitute the individual. And that means there was never a break from these desires. As a person, it's as an individual. Break means that there is not even 1 second that I had fulfilled all desires. Backlog is all over. Like you do your laundry after 3 weeks. The backlog is over. Everything finished, now clear. In letter writing and all that, we do this all the time. No backlog. There is no such clearing the deck. It's always a pile. They constitute the person, individual. Therefore, logically, it is not possible for one to be happy even for a second. While logic doesn't allow me to be happy, we take into account our experience, and taking into account our experience is logical. So we take into account our experience of being happy in spite of desires going. Unfulfilled desires, to be fulfilled desires are there, but still I pick up my happiness. This is one great blessing you have. You are so free inside. These desires, etc., this personality, etc., you just circumvent completely. You drop all this and then just to see yourself as a whole person. It doesn't absolve the subject-object presence. The presence of subject-object is there. At the same time, you are happy. When you are happy with the person, happy with stars, so the object is there, subject is there. Both constitute one wholeness. There is a wholesomeness. And that experience is undeniable. And it is there for everybody, the most unfortunate also. Most unfortunate, one thinks there is a reason to think I am unfortunate. So there is a reason to think. One feels I am very unfortunate. And so I lost my mother, I lost my father when I was young, and then I had to grow here. And then they exaggerate also, the self-made man. And then I studied under the street lamp. And then afterwards, this fellow gets married and comes here to America, and then he makes some money. But all the time, terrorizing his wife and children. Do you know? I studied under street light. He is very unfortunate and his children are more unfortunate. He's a terrorist. Very good meaning, well-meaning dad, but he has not accepted his own achievement. Therefore he terrorizes. It's very unfortunate. Well-meaning is not enough. So you have to be intelligent. Yeah. What you say, what you don't say. It's very important for children growing under your care. So even though the person is so self-hurting person, even that person can be happy for a moment. That gives me a window to point out, hey, come on, do you know, in spite of all these desires, you are happy. Can I conclude, since you are a thinker, can I point out that you need not fulfill all these desires to be happy? Can I point out to you? The fellow says yes, without knowing why you say yes, because Swami, you said it, therefore I say yes. You only ask me, can I point out? You can point out. Don't ask me whether I understand or not. So it's a very simple. It doesn't take any big rational thinking. I have these desires going. Conclusion was, I should do this so that I can be happy. I should do this, I should be happy. If I fix up this, I will be happy. If I don't fix up this, I will not be happy. I should fix up the world, then only I am happy. And if this person should be like this, that person should be like this. And like this we have desires in different spheres in order to be happy. Nothing is fixed up. I am able to laugh. So from that, I really understand. I need not fulfill all my desires to be happy. Thank God. Life becomes simple, correct? Swamiji, I understand the logic. You understand the logic? Yes, I understand the logic. That sounds intellectual. So what do you want now? If that is intellectual, what do you want? You want something emotional? What do you want? Why it is intellectual? Why are you allergic to intellection? What's wrong with you? You are a rational being. I am talking to you thinking that you are a rational being. And you say, I don't like intellectually. Hey, kya? What do you like? You know, too much left side. I want right side. The issue is entirely different. It has nothing to do with intellectual or emotional. Issue is different. Knowledge is intellectual. You don't pick up knowledge elsewhere. It's only in the intellect, buddhi. If buddhi is intellect is buddhi, then knowledge is intellectual. So, what is wrong? It's not intellectual knowledge, it is knowledge. Okay? It's only knowledge, indirect knowledge. It's not indirect knowledge. It's not indirect knowledge, yes. But that you experience happiness is not indirect knowledge, it is direct knowledge. In spite of all my desires, I just suspend all of them. I don't seem to look at them at all. When I laugh, they don't seem to count. In my happiness, they don't seem to have anything to do. Even if I fulfill a desire and happy, in happiness, the fulfillment of a desire really doesn't contribute anything. It takes a desire away. the sense of want away for the time being. But what about other wants? Need not be taken away. So for the time being, this was predominant and this is gone, and therefore it's very clear. You seem to be a person who is much more than your desires. Desiring is a privilege. The manifestation of that privilege is this desire, any desire, every desire. It's a manifestation of a privilege. And therefore, desire should not bother anybody. If desire is not there, even Srishti is not possible. This Jagat won't be there. Nothing will be there. Therefore, so this type of thinking, if you have desire, one Swami tells us, one popular Swami, if you have desire, you will have disappointment. If you have disappointment, you will have pain. If you want to avoid pain, you should have no disappointment, no greed. If you want to be free from disappointment and greed, you must give up your desire. If you give up your desire, you will have no disappointment, no pain. You go consult a doctor for your headache. His very drastic advice is, if you have no head, you will have no headache. Remove the head, no disease, no headache. So this is called removal of the cause of problems. The cause of problems is not desire. If that is the cause for the problem, I can't be happy listening to you. I am so happy listening to you. How you are happy. Not that you made me happy, you made me laugh. And so we get buffoons. These are slapstick jokes. And therefore, because there's nothing to understand, remove the head, you'll have no headache. So in spite of desires, if I am happy, why should anybody be allergic to a privilege? Privilege means you are free over the privileges. You can use them, you need not use them. And desires also don't come to you taking your permission. They don't come to you taking your permission except your desire for heaven. That is your full permission. Full permission means your planning. It's called future planning. You plan. Planned living. I thought living is you plan. This is called planned death, The planned death. So you must have a planned death. Where you will be buried, what will take place at the time of burial, and then where will you go? All planned death. It's wonderful, That's a privilege. That's your privilege. Your privilege, not to think, not to question. It's your privilege. Otherwise you would think. Because buddhi is there, you will think. But it's not automatic, this thinking. You have a free will. You have to think. which seems to be a very tortuous job for some people. And they tell me also, Swamiji, your teaching, I find it is all intellectual. Every time we come here, it's all intellectual. Morning intellectual, evening intellectual, in between intellectual. Except the free time that we have, lunch, etc. So, all intellectual. It's a lot of intellectual. I know the other thing also. I can sit there, no intellectual, nothing. Neo Vedanta. Neo Advaita. What is Neo Advaita? There's only Advaita reality. There's nothing else. What about learning? Learning is all bunkum. But how do you say there's only Advaita? Because that's only reality. Then why do you say that is the only reality? How do you say that? You are one reality, I am one reality. Definitely I am not you, I am happy also. And so that I am not you, how can you say that we are Advaita? And you say Advaita, go on drinking. If Advaita, if it is, why do you drink? Let it be there in the glass. Why do you transfer? Food. See, it's all one Advaita. That is the food outside is in space and the stomach also there is space. It is one space. Therefore, why should you travel from one space to another space? Unless you have got space here. All make anything sacred, anything profound, very, very simplistic. That's a trait for some people. It's a trait. Make everything simplistic. And so this, understand this. I can understand what you say. I see that is true. In spite of desires, if you understand this, I will be very happy. In spite of all desires, I am able to be happy. It's a fact I experience, therefore it is knowledge to me. If it is knowledge to me, I must ask, I go with that knowledge and find out what all it yields, because one little datum outside the paradigms with which we are working, and suppose one datum, it's outside, then you have to go with that, because your paradigms are not adequate to find out why this is there. That is how science frog leaps, okay? Frog leaps. That's a tongue of the slip. And so this is frog leaps. So you have to go with that one data. That's thinking. That's how we are progressing. Frog leaping. And we set up new paradigms. After finding out a few things, Newton was dismissed by Einstein. And he was not dismissed, and his certain conclusions were found wanting, looking at the behavior of a micro object like an electron. That's where the quantum mechanics came. And therefore, it's not that Einstein was made wrong or Newton was made wrong. At their stage, the stage in which the physics was, Newton was at the summit. Then Einstein just climbed the summit. Then the paradigms created by Newton, certain assumptions, and they were falsified because of certain data Einstein had. Then everything has to be changed. Time is not absolute, space much less. So he understands what it is. Therefore, new paradigms. Even that underwent change. That's progress. And therefore, this knowledge that I am happy in spite of being a so-called wanting person, because all the desires put together, I am a wanting person, and here you can put W capital, then it will be perfect. A wanting person, ever wanting person. And so what does it really lead me to? It leads me to question, what is this happiness? Is it a substantive? Is it something adventitious? It comes to me and goes away? It's an event? It's a happening? Seems to be one. Because I was searching for happiness and it visits me and goes away. Where is it centered then? Is it centered on an object? Is it itself an object? There is no object called happiness, correct? Is there an object called happiness? You can get the object and sniff. There is no object called happiness. You can't go to the store, give me $10 happiness. No? There is no object available happiness. All right, is it an adjective to an object? Means, is it an attribute to an object? Like a tall tree, like a black man. Like a sweet person. Some say, how do you say he's a sweet person? Because he's diabetic. And therefore, so he's a sweet person. He's a fat man. So like this, adjective, understand adjective, an attribute. It's a happy attribute to which object you can see. Because fat man, he is very visible. Fatness is visible. Tall man, tallness is visible. You can experience, suppose you say, it's a sweet orange, and you can experience. And therefore, sweet orange, you can verify. But then, where is this happiness as an attribute to which object? Can you see that? No, I am not looking for a substantive called happiness, but I am looking for an attribute qualifying a substantive. That means you have to find out a happy something. One American told me, Swamiji, this is a good dog. Why should he not say, a happy Dayananda? Because I see you seem to be happy. I have been like this for a long time. And so, you seem to be happy. And therefore, I am happy Dayananda. How do you know that I am happy? It may be my training. All the stand-up comedians, do you think they are happy? They are 3 times married people. And so, do you think they are happy? And so, how do you say that I am happy? It may be part of my training. I just come and as though I am happiness because I have to say you are happiness and I can't pull a long face and tell you you are happiness, you are this. I can't talk like that. And therefore, I have to say as though I am happy. And then, that's how I have to present myself. Then after having talked, I should go to my place and then just cry. What a lot. I have to put up a show like this all the time, every day, so presenting myself other than what I am, as though I am a happy person. This is just too much. How do you know? Swamiji, you look like that. That's right. Look. Even when I ask anybody a question, how are you? Fine. Fine. You smile and say fine. That doesn't mean anything is fine, okay? Fine means it's a polite answer. It's not that I just want to hear also. When I ask you, how are you? I expect from you fine. Then if you don't say, I will teach you, you have to say fine, sir. So fine, sir. I will teach you fine. You should not say that, no, I am not good, so I am going through a separation and this and that. Nobody wants all these answers. You have to say fine. And so, how do you know that I am happy? Now, I know one person. This is my personal experience. That's why I tell this often. In Mangalore, between Mangalore and Kasaragod, or this Kannur, Calicut, there are some people. Any answer, there is a laughter. Sir, Mr. Nair, when did you come? Yesterday. How are you? Fine. Did you have a lunch? No. When do you plan to go? Day after tomorrow. Everything. How is your wife? She is dead. So this is. So, what will you do with this fellow? So, for everything, I learned from him this. Really, this is real. And the whole group is like that, and that area. Are you working? I'm retired. Really, are you retired or are you fired? Really speaking, I am fired. It's not an attribute to an object. It is not an object. World is gone. Whole world is gone. Star is not happiness. Sun is not happiness, therefore. Moon is not happiness. Earth is not happiness. All these are there. You don't become happy. None of them is happiness. No object is happiness. There is no such attribute sticking to an object consistently to be there. Then, a place called a magic place. You go there, you become happy. You come out, you become unhappy. Go there, you become happy. Is there a place like that? No. Particular time, you become happy. So, that particular time, 5 o'clock, you become happy. You don't become happy. 5 o'clock, so much work is there, it's not over, you don't become happy. Even though you are supposed to leave your workplace at 5, you don't become happy. Swamiji, there is a time called happy hour, 1 hour. You don't know about that. I know, that's why I'm talking. That is the most unhappy hour. That is where you got this cut. So the fellow has got a cut, his scar is there. I know, that's where you picked up this scar. Yes, I did. Then where is the happy hour? In a happy hour, why should you get this? No, because all people are drinking and we got into some kind of argument and then some altercation. And then that fellow punched me and then I got a cut. Happy hour. So no time is happiness. No place is happiness. Any time you can be happy or unhappy. Any place you can be happy or unhappy. Therefore, Swamiji, please tell me, where is this happiness then? One fellow comes again. This is all Oriental. This is Oriental stuff. This is among us. But now you need not be from India. There are local gurus are available. And so they tell us, happiness is within you. 1%. Happiness is within you. Local guru. Oh, where did you learn? That's the Oriental knowledge. According to Upanishads, happiness is within you. Within me means what? Within the liver? Within the kidneys? Within the heart? Within the lungs? No, that's physical body. Where is it available? Within your mind. Oh, mind is happiness? Yes. Then sorrow, where does it exist? Sorrow exists where? That's also in the mind. Then how can you say in the mind there is happiness? And both of them are living together? Left side is happiness and the right side of the mind. Is there a left-right side for the mind? Your brain has got left and right. Your thinking mind, does it have a left or right? No. Then what? When you are sorrow, you are sorrow. When you are happiness, you are happiness. New Vedanta. How the opposites can exist in the same place? Unless one is intrinsic, the other is a superimposition. Or you are neither happiness nor sorrow. They all come and go. You are visitors. Like you have good guests and bad guests. They come and they go. These fellows visit occasionally. They visit. Occasionally is happiness. And other fellows come and they don't go. When they go, you become happy. And therefore, so this is how we have to conclude. It takes mind to be sad. A lot of mind. It takes one's mind to be sad. Lot of thinking to be sad. If there is less thinking, there will be less sadness. That is why some people want to empty the mind. This is the same drastic solution. Remove the head, no headache. Don't think, then you will be wonderful. It's called the ting-ting philosophy. Ting-ting philosophy means, if it is empty, then you make a sound. This is all empty head. See that? So this is called ting-ting philosophy. The mind is empty. Head is empty now of all thoughts. When all thoughts dry up, thank God your thoughts dry up. At least for 3 minutes you will be free from bothering me with your thoughts, okay? And so free, this fellow, if all thoughts dry up, you enjoy bliss. So thinking is the problem. Thinking is the problem. Therefore, remove thinking. And for this, you do all these various forms of meditation. And therefore, so you go on looking at the mind. You become a tofu person. And really, so senile, no thinking, you can't say anything, you can't think properly, you can't do it. And therefore, any one thing, it will take 5 minutes to answer. Because you are looking at the mind all the time. Mind is meant for using. It's not looking. This is one type of a meditation. I'm serious. It is okay to be objective to your mind, to everything. Thoughts also. That is not looking at the mind is the meditation. To be what I am is the meditation. It's not looking at the mind, looking at anything. That's entirely different meditation. What I am, what is, objective, as it is. And therefore, so empty head is not happiness. Because when I see something beautiful, I am happy, object is there, subject is there. I listen to music, music is there, I am ecstatic. Even in the flight, a fellow is sitting there, and I am trying to catch some sleep, and I am there in this corner, 2 seats. And this fellow is here, and then suddenly, so this fellow is doing like this. And then he cannot, and I then, what is he doing? Then I just see this fellow has got a headphone. He has an object. He is listening. And he's so absorbed, he doesn't even recognize there is a man sitting there. He goes on doing like this. Happiness. Subject and object. They don't disappear. In fact, all our known forms of happiness imply subject-object. The presence of subject-object. Subject-object disappearance happiness is just a lull. That is why some of these dialectical materialists and mechanical materialists, both of them, They always say that unless there is a desirable object, you never become happy. That is their argument. You must have something desirable in order to be happy. There is some argument, some fact is there, we will look into that. And therefore what I say, so you cannot say that subject-object disappearance, making the mind empty, that makes you happy, because that is falsified by your experience of being happy in the wake of something fascinating for you. For somebody else it may not be fascinating. You have your own norms, your own background. Certain things you are happy. Others may not be happy. Otherwise, how can anybody eat with so much avidity and fervor this blue cheese? You got your own interests. In fact, every restaurant should have outside a board, we serve blue cheese. So those who love, they can go, and those who don't love can be out. So it's all cultivated. So what makes one happy doesn't make another happy. That's another issue altogether. We will come to that later. And therefore, this empty head is not happiness. Subject-object disappearance, therefore, is not happiness. Or subject-object presence is unhappiness. You cannot say, because subject-object presence can make you unhappy. Like the arrival of mother-in-law. So this is for Indian families, So subject-object. Just an example. So something you don't like, subject-object, makes you sad. And therefore, so both are wrong. Subject-object should be there in order to be happy is wrong. Subject-object will deny me happiness also is wrong. Empty head is happiness is not correct. Because I am enjoying the subject-object situation. Therefore, Swamiji, I asked the question. When I asked the question, so then where is this happiness? Swamiji, you better tell. Everything I tried, you dismissed. Now what should I do? Suppose I say, what do you experience? I ask one more question. What do you experience in happiness? This fellow thought over. I experience a happiness. So okay, I am not enlightened. What do you experience in happiness? When you are happy, what do you experience? Do you experience an object other than you? Then it's an object. Suppose you see an apple. Apple is different from you. It's an object of your thought. You see the thought. You are the subject of that apple. That is the object. Correct? And that object, suppose, pleases you. Happiness, is it an object? It is an object, like a person. You have been waiting to see this person. And you happen to see this person coming out of the flight, and you have some flowers in your hand waiting for this person. You are so happy seeing this person. Now, there is object. Happiness is centered on the object, or do you experience the happiness as an object, leaving the object alone? This is a different object. Or you are happiness. Is it subject? It is centered on yourself, the subject. Swamiji, it is centered on myself. I don't see happiness as an object at any time. I am happy. I never said this is happiness. At any time, this is apple, this is the person, this person has come, and this is sorrow. You can't say this person is sorrow. For you, this is sorrow coming. For the other person, oh, it is joy coming. For another person, it is joy coming, and for this person, sorrow coming. Then where is this happiness centered on? I will say, it is centered on you. Means you are not denying that happiness. It envelops you. It envelops the object also. Both are included in that happiness. But both have nothing to do with that happiness. Because that subject is the one who is unhappy generally. Now that subject is under the shower of this happiness. The object also under the shower. And both of them are included in that wholeness. Therefore, I would say happiness is the wholeness enveloping, sustaining, pervading both subject and object. This says far-reaching, this consequences. If I say happiness is not even centered on me, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the subject. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the object, because object cannot be called happiness, subject cannot be called happiness, and it includes the subject, includes the object, overwhelms the subject and object, and even subject-object disappears. It can be. In fact, that's what happens. A person goes all the way from the south in India, goes to the Himalayas, to go to Badrinath, want to have darshan. He had walked a lot of distance. In those days you have to walk. It's a very difficult walk. Last lap is not something you can lap up. It's not possible. So you drag yourself. You drag yourself, cursing yourself, why should you have this kind of desire? And thus you go there, and then of course there is an inviting pond, a hot water spring, and so you take a bath. Abba. That gives you some kind of relief. And you go to the temple with great expectation, and you go there, and there is a curtain. You wait. You wait. There are people who came along with you. I mean, you met some people on the way. And one of them is this camera fellow who didn't come to Badrinath. He wanted to take picture. These are the fellows. Wherever you go, these fellows will be there. And that too, now this digital has come. Nobody is without a digital. People have digitalized themselves. So this digital camera everybody has got. And he has got this camera. shoulder camera, old style camera. And with this camera he has been taking pictures, and this fellow, the curtain was removed, and there was Arati, and he said, Jai Badrinath, Hari Badrinath. Everybody cries that Jai Badri Vishal. That is a cry you hear. Jai Badri Vishal. We heard that and he saw. And he did like this. Then he closed his eyes. There is no Badri Vishal. There is no subject. The subject-object coalesce, fuse into one experience. When the object was also happy, he closed his eyes, and then also he is happy. Open your eyes, you are happy. Close your eyes, happy. Remember all these sentences, okay? His eyes were open, he was happy. Jai Badri Vishal. He was happy, ecstatic. And then closed his eyes. This cameraman asked him, Sir, he opened his eyes. Why do you close your eyes? You came here to see Badrinath. You are closing your eyes. What will he answer? Did he say, I closed my eyes because I had enough of it? Did he have anything to do with closing the eyes? Was there a will involved in it? Badrinath was away from him. Now he is no more away. Correct? He was away from him. What he wanted was away from him, by time, by distance. The time and distance are devoured. Seekers sought are fused. That's all. That is called Ananda. For that fusion to take place, he came all the way from the south to Badrinath. Meaningful. And that fusion, it's all what you need. This fusion is something that takes away any alienation from the whole, separation from the whole. You long to be the whole because you are small and insignificant in your own estimation, judgment, and you forget the judgment. This is experiential happiness. You forget the judgment and there is wholeness. Because that is the truth, this is what we say. That is the truth of happiness. That wholeness can never go away from you because what is truth doesn't go away. In fact, what doesn't go away is the truth. If it goes away, it is not true. The truth of going away is it goes away. That it goes away is the truth. What doesn't go away doesn't go away. That is the truth. And therefore, if the wholeness is there, but how can wholeness go away? Which is the place it will go to? From whom it will go away? To which place it can go away? To which Vedanta is unfolding itself, correct? Yes, correct. We will see. Om. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.